So I would say that I started in the second semester of my college, like the first year, second semester.
Mhm.
So that's when I started doing CP and DSA.
Hey Anish, how are you?
Hey, hello everyone. So I'm doing fine. What about you?
Yes, excellent. Very excited.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me just introduce you. Okay, so currently, in the next month, you will be joining the Microsoft as a software engineer. You are candidate master at Code Forces. You are ex SDE intern at Media.net. You are a problem setter at LeetCode, HackerRank, and Scalar, and you are also a guardian at LeetCode. That's amazing.
Thank you. So looking forward to have a great meeting with you.
Yes. Okay, so let's just start. I want to jump directly into the process. Can you please share your interview experience, number of rounds and all?
Yeah, so if I talk about the interview experience of my Microsoft, so there were 4 rounds in the internship time. So the first round was a OA or a online coding round. The next 3 rounds were face-to-face interviews. So the first two interviews were DSA interviews, and the last round was HR or open-ended round interviews. Okay, so it was an on-campus opportunity, and around July or August, the company came in our campus, and the hiring process took place.
Great. You also have experience with ICPC. Would you like to share what
Yeah.
is ICPC, how to apply in ICPC, and what the questions, how to prepare for ICPC?
So basically, ICPC is a college contest, CP programming contest, I would say. So basically, you can apply to ICPC through a professor or a coach, basically. So you need to have a coach who helps you to register. And after registering, you will have a online or a preliminary round where the top team from every college proceeds to the next round, which is the on-site regionals. So even if you are the top team, so you have to get a decent rank in the prelims. So after you get a decent rank and the top rank from your college in the prelims, you go to on-site regionals. So again, the top 10, 15 teams from on-site regionals goes to Asia West finals and so on. Okay, so it's basically a CP contest, competitive programming contest for colleges. You have to make a group of 3 members. Every means each of the 3 members has to be from your college. So it's basically a group contest in the field of CP. So basically, for ICBC, you need to make sure that you do a lot of CP stuffs. Like LeetCode is not a CP platform. First of all, it's a DSA platform. So you need to practice well on Code Forces, Code Chef, and maybe AdCoder.
Mhm. Okay, great. So can you please share when did you started doing DSA?
Okay, so particularly if I talk about DSA, to be very honest, I started CP before DSA.
Mhm.
So the thing here is that if you do CP, so DSA becomes very easy for you. So I would say that I started in the second semester of my college, like the first year, second semester.
Mhm.
So that's when I started doing CP and DSA.
Okay, so there is a very big difference between CP and DSA. Can you please explain it?
Simple terms, CP is the implementation of DSA. Okay, so uh, what you do in CP here is that you learn DSA and implement it in a efficient and in a more optimized way, and you have to do that in a limited time span. In CP, you are given a certain number of hours and a certain number of questions. You have to solve the questions using DSA and several other mathematical expressions or mathematical proofs. So CP is just an extension of DSA, or you can say it's just a implementation of DSA in a more efficient and in a more optimized way.
Great. Can you please share the resources you used while preparing for DSA, CP and all? I guess there is a very famous book, CP handbooks. So
Actually, I didn't prepare from a hand. Yeah, so I didn't prepare from a handbook. So there is a website called cpalgorithms. Find every resources from there. Okay, so I would suggest that every person trying to do CP or even DSS, so you can go to cpalgorithms.com. So things are very well explained there, and most importantly, almost every topic is present in CP algorithms. Okay, so if you are starting in CP or DSA, I would definitely recommend trying out CP algorithms as a resource or as a guide.
Okay. Can you please tell how were you preparing? Means your strategy. Means how many hours were you giving to single question? If it is not being solved in the 1 hour, then something like that.
So I the golden rule says that like when you are solving a DSA question, so let's say if you are sitting blank, nothing comes to your mind and you don't get any idea that what needs to be done or time, go and see the tutorial. Try to understand that why this kind of solution is being used, and make sure that next time if you get a similar problem, you can solve it by yourself. But if you are not sitting blank, like you get a small idea or get a small hint, or you make a small observation that you can do this or you can solve this question through this observation. So in that case, don't see the solution. As long as you are making or observing things or you are making small observations, so don't see the solution. Whenever you get blank or you get stuck at a moment, okay, that moment you go and see the solution. Before that, until and unless you are getting observations or you are making observations and you are approaching towards the solution, don't go and see the solution. So that's the thing.
Great advice. And nowadays, what's happening is students learning DSA in their second year, and then they start doing CP and all. So, what is your advice?
So first of all, I would say that as I did both of them simultaneously from my second semester. Like I learned DSA, I started doing CP also. So I did simultaneously, and I also tell everyone that you don't need to learn DSA to start CP. You can learn the basic mathematics. You can learn the basic arrays, link arrays, or any basic structures means you need to just know the basics of DSA or and the basics of mathematics to get started in CP. You don't need to master DSA before starting CP. So I would suggest everyone to do both CP and DSA simultaneously.
Okay, great. How many hours should we dedicatedly practice DSA every day? Or rather than how many questions should we do?
Doesn't depend on the number of hours. So it generally depends on the number of questions. So ideally, I would say that you should at least practice 3 to 4 questions a day. Like if you are in the preparation stage. But what's more important is that you practice problems which are outside your comfort zone. Okay. So don't practice problems which are easy to you. Like
Mhm,
there is no point in practicing easy questions and the questions which you can already do. Okay. So
mhm.
practice problems which are outside your comfort zone. And if you practice problems which are outside your comfort zone for, let's say, if you solve 3 or 4 questions outside your comfort zone, so you can I would say that you can easily progress if you solve 3 or 4 questions outside your comfort zone every day.
Okay, great. Can you share some of the questions of your interviews or maybe the lead code hard level or lead code medium level kind of thing?
Basically, in most of my interviews, so I used to means I got medium or medium hard level questions of lead code, I would say, and the most important topics were like trees and DP. Okay, so trees, graphs, and DP are a must for interviews. Like practice these topics very well if you want to do well in interviews because these are very frequently asked topics in interviews.
And what is the best strategy to master these topics?
So it's exactly similar to what I told that go and practice 3 4 problems every day of those topics and try to practice problems which are outside your comfort zone. This is very important. Like always do problems which are hard to you. Okay, so just
Mm,
go to LeetCode, sort them by tags, or go to GFG solving questions. As simple as that.
Okay, were you using any productivity tool like Notion to track how many questions you are doing and to revise the question or something like that?
No, 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 no. I didn't use such tools. I just tried to solve 3, 4 questions a day, and that's it. Like I just used to means I just used to keep an aim that I have to solve these 3 or 4 questions today, and I am done.
Okay, and can you please share how to find off-campus opportunity?
Yeah. So basically, what you can do here is that like my media.net and Cred offers were off-campus offers. So
Mm-hmm.
basically, what you can do here is that you can just network people in various companies. You can just knock them and say that, hey, I was looking for this job in your company. Can you refer me? What's important here is to make sure that you go in with a job ID. Like, if there are no openings, don't ping. Like, if there is no openings, how the people will or how the person will refer you. Okay. So if there is an opening, go to LinkedIn, reach out to a person of that company and tell that I want to apply to this opening. Here is my resume, and can you refer me to this company? So that's a very simple way of applying to off campus, and that's the most efficient way, I would say.
Hmm, great. Would you like to talk about your failures because you have been given lots of contest and there is always ups and downs while giving the contest. So would you like to talk about it?
Yeah. So basically, like if I want to talk about the failures, like it's I also had terrible contests sometimes, like where I got like -100 negative deltas also. Like I got rejected in some companies like Code Nation and all. So I think it's okay to fail and like think about the next opportunity. Like don't think much about what has happened before. It's
Hmm.
okay. Don't think much about it, because if you think much about it, you are just wasting your time for the next opportunity. So that's what I would like to say about failures.
Yes, great. So
So basically, what I would suggest everyone here is that like DSA is compulsory, so you have to do DSA no matter what. DSA if you are in a first and second year. Uh, this doesn't apply for third and fourth year students, because if you are in third and fourth year, you should be allocating like 70 to 80% of the time to DSA. But if you are in your first and second year, you have much time to explore. So try to allocate 50% of the time to DSA, and the rest 50% you can explore whatever you like. Need web development, app development, ML, AI, blockchain, anything.
okay, so this is also one of the burning questions of many students. They are not getting enough time to work on both DSA and the development. So how to manage DSA development and also college?
Yeah, so basically, I would say that try to do in alternate days or try to divide your time. Just as I told that DS is compulsory. So try to make sure that you solve at least 2 or 3. You can do it like this, that I will solve 2, 3 questions of DSA daily, and the rest of the time I will explore and do development. That's it.
Okay, great.
I would say that after working as a software engineer for 6, 7 months as an intern in various companies. So, like coding is just 40% of the things you do. Most of the time goes in design, like how the software will be built, how the system design will be. So, most of the times goes in design. Uh, I would say even out of 40%, 20% is actually writing the code, and the rest 20% is just debugging. So debugging and writing tests, finding around 40 to 50% of the time goes around design, like how the things will be built and what things we will build, and what technologies we will use, and how the scalability and all will be done. So maximum time goes into design. And once you start working as a software engineer, you will also realize that designing is far more important than coding. Like if you have the design ready, if you have the plan ready, it doesn't take much time to code the design. Also, like just as in DSA, it's difficult to make the algorithm. It's not difficult to write the algorithm. So it's difficult to design the software and make sure the software is well designed and well planned. Making that plan into code is not a big deal. Okay, so most of the time goes in design rather than writing code. Like most of the time, you are either designing or like writing code or debugging code or writing tests and all.
Okay, so here designing refers to system design, architecture design, right?
Yes, basically it's like designing how the code will be written, how the software will be built. So it's basically system design. Yes.
Okay, would you like to give a small example?
So let's say you are building a API. Okay, let's say you are building an API of anything. So it's more important to decide like what parameters you will take as input for the API. Here you need to make sure that you are not taking redundant input or redundant parameters, because if you are taking redundant parameters, so that makes the user frustrated or the front end developer frustrated that why he's asking for this. These are not even needed. So, and then you need to make sure that you use the most efficient algorithm to calculate. Then you need to make sure that you also output the right uh, kind of data. Means you don't want to give out too much of output because you don't know who will be using the API. And let's say if you give out the data which is not needed, it is a security issue. And also you can't give out too less information, because then the user doesn't get benefit of using the API. Okay. So deciding that what output should be given is also very important. So deciding on these factors is far more important than making the API endpoint.
Great. And can you explain the difference between low level design and high level design?
So low level design is basically like how the things will be implemented at a low level, uh, means at a low level implementation. So I would say that low level implementation is basically it basically revolves around will be written, or how many classes will be there, what will be the responsibility of every class, what will be the responsibility of every function. Designing this structure is basically the low level design. So a low level design is basically uh, design is it's basically designing that how the idea or how the original idea will be transformed into writing code. Okay, so it basically revolves around designing the idea into code. And high level design is basically the thing where you decide upon what servers you will use, or how the load balancings will be done, or I would say what type of connections you will make, those kind of things.
Great. Uh, Okay, so at last, would you like to give some advice or tips to the students who want to join big MNCs in the future?
As I already told before, like do focus on DSA. It's really important. It's very, very important. Don't ignore it if you want to make it to the top MNCs. Second of all, like try to have a good project on your resume. It helps a lot. Also, try to do development also along with DSA. Like you can explore and you should explore, because when you join an MNC, you will be developing things. So it's better if you know some development beforehand. And that's it. Like do DSA consistently, like, and like be consistent, do DSA and explore stuffs. And also network on LinkedIn, because it will help you in getting referrals, which will help you to land interviews. And if you do DSA well, it's not very hard to crack the interviews.
Okay, and I want to ask, there is one word called peer programming. Can you please explain that? What is that?
So it's basically like you make a group of 2 or 3 people and you do DSA or do CP or do anything together. Like let's say you can't solve a problem, your friend has solved it. So you go to him and tell him that explain me this problem. I can't understand it. Or let's say you have solved the problem, your friend hasn't solved the problem. So you explain the problem to your friend. So that's what peer programming is.
आप करते थे?
No, like for DSA, like I didn't do peer programming. So, but for development, like for building projects, we used to form a team and then make the project. But for DSA, I used to do it alone.
Okay, what should we focus on while building a project?
Just make sure that the project is really solving a problem. Just don't make a project just for the sake of making a project. Okay. Just make sure that the project is useful and it solves a problem. That's it.
Okay, and sometimes we also get this kind of advice from the faculties that this project already exists in the market. So what new you have accomplished in this project? So what to do those situations?
That's what I have told that try to make a project on a problem that is not yet solved. Okay. So, for example, like in my resume, there was a project for making the college community online. Like in the pandemic, like our college didn't have a online community or something like that. So we decided to make a website that could help in building the online community for IISP. Okay, so that's the problem we tried to solve, and around 2020 to 2022 when the pandemic was one. So we built that website, and the online community was built for our college. So that's the problem we tried to solve. Like it had some kind of bugs also. Like it was not foolproof. The website had issues also, but I would say that we did manage to solve most of the problems. So that's the thing.
Great. And at the time of building a project in the college, should we think about system design and all, or it comes once we join the company?
Like it generally comes when you join the company. System design is generally not needed for entry level jobs.
Thanks a lot for joining the meeting. It was amazing to talk to you.
Welcome. Yeah, I think that's the last message would be like work hard and be consistent.
Hmm. Consistency is the key.
Yeah,
Okay, thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, Anish.
thank you. Thank you.